Okay, well, thank you very much. Ito po, si Nico Fabian once again. Nandito po sa programa natin na Nick Talk, Career Talk with Nico. And today, it's Wednesday, August 20. We are now August 20 and it's Wednesday. Hope everybody is doing fine. Ang mga Filipinos dito po sa Malaysia, ang mga Filipinos dyan po sa Sabah, particularly in Kota Kinabalu, is Malaysia, and all other overseas Filipino workers, be it in Malaysia, be it in other parts of the world, no? Sa Saudi Arabia, Japan, Australia, Lebanon, kung mayroon, sa United States of America, Australia, and mga iba-iba pang lugar po. So today we are going to discuss something about what transpired yesterday during the Blue Ribbon Committee meeting or hearing in Manila Wednesday po, no, dyan sa Senado. And of course, nakita natin po our President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos is keeping himself very busy. Almost every day po, inspecting projects. He wants to see that the projects, development projects, particularly flood control projects in the Philippines, no? Which was implemented or awarded since 2022 when he became the president of the Philippines. He wants to make sure that it is properly implemented. And those projects who are not properly implemented or facing a lot of problems, and of course projects, ghost projects and other projects that the authorities concerned, including this local politicians or elected politicians natin, ang mga leaders natin sa Pilipinas, allegedly or reportedly involved in the anomalies or corruption activities, no? Sa mga projects po, then he will make sure that all these people will be dealt accordingly, and the long arm of the law will be properly executed po. So yun po. So ngayon nandito tayo sa Kuala Lumpur, particularly dito po malapit sa opisina ng Prime Minister of Malaysia, si Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim, and we are now here in Putrajaya. Anyway, let's go straight to the point po. Ito po, kailangan, I think the Filipino community, the Filipinos not only in the country, but also those outside the country, the overseas Filipino workers, we would like to know who are these people, who are these people if found guilty, beyond reasonable doubts, who are these people who are involved in the corruption activities on the numerous flood control projects po dyan sa Pilipinas. So sana lang po we will get the bottom of this thing po, and hope everything will run smoothly after the findings po. Presently, I think presently the Senate, Philippine Senate is conducting the probe or investigation on this flood control projects po. A very big question mark, controversial issue now in the Philippines, and spearheaded by the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, and of course the House of Representatives or the lower chamber. Dyan sa Pilipinas po, ang mga members are the congressmen from the different districts in the Philippines po, 300 plus of them. Now we were made to understand, and it was officially announced that they are going to also investigate in aid of legislation, just like the Senate investigation being chaired by no less than neophyte Senator Rodante Marcoleta, which they officially started yesterday, August 19 po. August 19. Congress, and we were made to understand the Commission on Audit will also be doing the same investigation. Likewise, the Office of the President, the Executive, now also are carrying out investigations po and visiting the various projects po, no? Flood control projects in the Philippines po, and to make sure that those involved in this hanky-panky, in these anomalous corrupt activities po, they will be punished po. According to the President, no less than President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, he already assured that heads will be rolling, and there will be no bias po, be it his political allies, be it his relatives, business friends, or associates po, for as long as they will be confirmed or guilty involved in this corruption activities, particularly on development projects in the Philippines, as well as itong very hot issue ngayon po, ang sabihin natin flood control projects po, then he will make sure that they will be dealt accordingly without fear or favors. Yan po. So this morning, I was made to understand based on the mainstream media reports in the Philippines, the President, President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, was very angry po when he visited one place dyan po sa Manila, and he found out that some projects, a certain project was fully paid by the government, and he found out that it was a ghost project po. There was a document saying that the project was completed, but actually the project was a ghost project po. And let me share you a clipping of this visitation or visit of President Bongbong Marcos po in one of the sabihin natin, one of the sites, sites po dyan sa Pilipinas. Nandito po, let's watch and listen to this video po. Our President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. Nandito po. You hold on, ha? I will share this thing to you. And nandito po.
I'm getting very angry. This what's happening here. Natin na paano naman? Wala talaga. 220 meters, 55 billion. Completed ang record ng public works. Kahit walang ginawa, kahit isang araw hindi nagtrabaho, wala kang makita puntahan, hindi wala kayong makita kahit na tuloy-tuloy ang pagbaha sa kapila. So, yes. If all of these projects were properly executed and implemented, ang laki nang nawala na problema sana sa atin at sa mga taong bayan, at saka mas magiging maayos hanggang irrigation, hanggang water supply, fresh water supply for household. Pero ito yung ginagawa nila, talagang nakakapinsala pa sa mga local residents. So yes, it's I'm not disappointed, I'm angry. So what are you doing about projects? Anong end-goal ng irrigation? Yes, if need be, of course. As I said, ang trato namin with all of this, siyempre marami. For example, falsification na ito. Yung ganito, dahil nag-report sila na completed. Hindi, kitang-kita naman na hindi completed. So immediately that's a falsification. So that's already a very big violation. And for the big ones, talaga I'm thinking very hard to pipilaan natin sila na economic sabotage, because economic sabotage is very clearly tignan natin yung utang ng gobyerno ng Pilipinas, ng Republika, ay mababawasan kung naging maayos na natin itong kasi ngayon babalikan na natin ngayon to sa napunta yung pera, hahabulin natin, kakasuhan natin sila. How long will that take? Di ba? In the meantime, we have to actually still build the flood control project. Nationwide yung filing. I'm sorry? Nationwide po yung filing ng cases in Navy. Well, no, it depends on what our findings will be. So there's a legal team working on that. But in the meantime, we are continuing to go through the records of public works and all the big contractors to see kung tumutugma yung kanilang report doon sa mga sinusumbong sa atin ng taong bayan. So that's why I encourage na napaka-useful, napaka-malaking bagay at napapakinabangan namin ang gusto yung inyong pagsulat sa amin, pagsumbong, para padalhin nyo kami ng picture, padalhan nyo kami ng video, para alam namin kung ano yung sitwasyon dun sa inyo. Pupuntahan natin, kung hindi ako makapunta, pupuntahan ng mga engineer natin para makapag-report sila sa atin ng mabuti. At malaman talaga natin kung ano nangyari sa pondo, sino nagwaltas ng pondo, paano nangyari yun na ibigay yung kontrata doon sa mga ganyang klaseng kontratista. So that's what we're going to pursue.
Alright, that's it po. Si President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos during his visit in one of the sites, flood control project now, which he himself said it is it is a ghost project po, no? Ghost project. So identified, confirmed na ghost project po. So mayroon pa, marami pa yung mga projects. Out of the earlier, it was reported there were a total of 9,000 something a project, and out of that 9,000 something projects po, some 6,021 projects are questionable po. And saan ito po? Marami po nandyan sa Metro Manila area, no? Sa Luzon, NCR, we have Ilocos Norte, we have in Mindoro, Oriental Mindoro, we have in Bulacan is worse po, no? Dami mga projects sa Bulacan, ang flood control projects po since 2022, no? And it involves a lot of money, something like 55 billion, something like that. Yeah, 55 billion awarded projects in Bulacan. Yet po, until now, whenever the experience heavy downpour in the province of Bulacan po, then 100% po, the people are badly affected of this what we call flash flood. Properties, lives. Every year po, we are recording a lot of Filipinos dying because of this flash flood effects. And what is happening po? Yun talaga ang problema ngayon. But anyway, okay, let me read you an article po, no? An article regarding this issue. Okay, I got it from Philstar. Okay, I got it from Philstar. Saan na yun, Philstar. Aha. You hold on. I cannot open. Mayroon ba tayo dito? Hold on. Aha. Hotspot natin, no? Hotspot natin. Bluetooth, mobile data. Okay. Okay. I hope we can get this mobile data para alright. Medyo nahirapan tayo dito sa news article. But anyway, let me show you another footage in the meantime po habang nakahanap ko ng ang news article. Okay, let me show you another footage po wherein during the Senate yesterday, Blue Ribbon hearing, Blue Ribbon Committee hearing yesterday, chaired by Senator Rodante Marcoleta. Now, former President of the Senate, si Senator Mix Rubiri, during his opening speech po, he mentioned about this thing, his observation and his suggestion po. He was suggesting that it's about time that the authorities concerned, or even the President, should name the culprits po. Who are these congressmen lawmakers involved in the corruption cases of in the Philippines po since 2022 hanggang 2025 hanggang this year po. Sino-sino po. Let's listen to the recorded video clip that I managed to prepare for all of you po, no? For all of you. Nandito po. Hold on. Sandali. Saan na tayo? Si Subiri. Alright. Sandali. Medyo nahirapan na tayo ngayon, ha? Alright.
To all the members of the DPWH and
Andito.
Secretary Pangalaman and all the other departments. Alam mo, let's address the elephant in the room, Mr. Chairman. Let's already address the elephant in the room. The DPWH is not all at fault. Kasi yan ang kanina pa, nahiya lang si Secretary, Mr. Chairman. Pero in our conversations together with Secretary Mina, namamanggal yung budget. Iba yung NEP. Paglabas po ng ng GGAA, yung General Appropriations Act. And I've had conversations with the good secretary na sabi niya, wala na yung aming flagship projects, wala na kaming road right of way. Out of sheer frustration, hindi kasalanan ni Sec. Yun, Mr. Chairman, kasi tamang sinabi niya, pagdating sa NEP, vetted na yan. May RDC Council approval yan. Napakahirap, napakaigpit. And the DBM also knows that there's a vetting process. Kaya paglabas po ng budget, iba lang itsura ng budget, wala na po silang magagawa dahil patas po yan. Kailangan po na lang i-implement yun. That's the elephant in the room. Kaya tama si Toby Chanco sa Kongreso kahapon. Ibigay yung mga amendments from the NEP and after the BICAM. Kasi napakasimple lang po yan eh. Ito po yung NEP, ito po yung amount. Yung marami dyan, walang kalokohan na projects, walang flood control, walang cat's eyes, walang pagbili ng solar lamps, paglagay po ng road barrier, rock netting, tsaka yung pintura sa kalsada. Paglabas ng budget, inamend yung budget nila, nilagay na po lahat yun. We need to find out the proponents of that, and the President is on his right, is in the right track. Kasi I've seen the President's frustration when I was Senate President na talagang bakit namamanggal yung budget, ba't nawala yung aking legacy projects. Kaya, for 3 years, nawalang legacy project yung ating Pangulo. Dahil nga, siguro there was a free hand, and we're all guilty, no? Both House and the Senate. So, I think, wag na tayo magsanto-santo dito. Ilabas na natin yung listahan. Sino ba nag-amend yan? Tapos depensahan ng congressman o senador sa Loretta kung kaya niyang idepensahan, ba't niya linagay doon? Tama sinabi ni Chairman. Maraming project dyan, ghost. Meron pa nga hindi ghost. Ginawa, pero kalahati lang. Supposed to be 100 linear meters, naging 50 linear meters na lang. Di dapat kasuhan yun because that's a public infrastructure project. If it is not 100 linear meters under the contract, they do 50 linear meters. You can file a case like what they did to Napoles and file a case against them for substandard projects. Kung pag na yun, umuhon tubig, umuudin yung project, labas ng kabilya, walang kabilya, kawayan lang. Nandun sa Albay, sa home province ng aking nanay. Panay, buko lumber. Diyos ko po. Tsaka bato. Na semento. Yung semento mas manipis pa sa platito yung semento. Yan, kasuhan yan. Kasuhan ka agad yan. Tapos tignan mo yung proponent. Kung wala po sa NEP yan, sino ba naglagay na politiko dyan? Yan ang tanongin natin kasi there's always a day of reckoning in the elections. You will always say, kayo pala proponent na itong mga substandard projects. Lagot kayo sa amin kasi pinapa kami dito. That's the elephant in the room, Mr. Chairman. I did not want to make an opening statement, but watching this talaga angers me. And I am so happy that the minority leader, together with Senator Lacson, together with Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, our chairman of the Committee on Finance, and the members of Congress now will be transparent. If there are amendments to be made in this budget, let's defend it on the floor. Kung may kalsada doon sa gitna ng probinsya ko ng Bukidnon, walang tulay, yung mga teachers nalulunod, yung mga estudyante nalulunod, I will stand up here and defend a bridge project for that. And then convince my colleagues for that amendment with the approval of the local government unit, the RDC, and the DPWH. Pero yung mga bulagaan lang, silang ma-vet, wala na po silang magagawa. Kawawa din yung mga to. They become our punching bag. But let's start from the beginning. Where did the funds come from? Where are the sources of these funds? And let's expose it once and for all. Parang sa nangyari sa Napoles, lumabas lahat ng pangalan. May mga politiko ayaw ilabas sa mga pangalan. Ilabas doon ni, at that time it was Chairman Chofisto Ginggona III. Yung anak.
Okay, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, mga kaibigan ko po, narinig natin ang observation, ang suggestion ni former Senate President Senator Migs Subiri. Hotspot. So, I'm trying to check itong hotspot ko po so I can get the news from the Philippine Star, no? Philippine Star. But anyway, okay, let's move on with sabihin natin itong issue po. Now, let's get from the bottom, no? Kung sino-sino who are involved in this awarding of projects, you know, from the NEP, National Expenditure Program. Ready na yon, and then they go for this sabihin natin itong sabihin natin itong GAP, and then from GAP GAA, no? So sino talaga nag-insert itong mga projects po? You cannot just blame sa Department of Public Works and Highway, no? Sila din po confused, no? Because pagdating ng after the BICAM, na-approve na lahat ang mga sabihin natin ang mga projects. So, ano nangyari? Wala nangyari. So, it's about time siguro po that we have to mention the names, names talaga po ng mga congressmen ba o lawmakers ba involved po sa sabihin natin sa controversy. Who inserted this? Sino kaya po? Who inserted this? Yun talaga ang importante. Anyway, sige lang, let me share you this news article which I pick up from the Philippine Star. Ang title ng news article is Philippines spends billions on flood projects but disasters keep killing. Keep killing. Alright, nandito po. Here is the details of this news article. Marinig ninyo po. Please listen to this carefully po para that you will have the idea. As calls for the accountability over the country's flood control system intensify, cyclones and worsening weather conditions continue to overwhelm local communities. The contrast raises a stark question. How much has been spent to present floods? And how many lives have still been lost? Since 2022, you listen carefully po, since 2022, the Philippines has spent 545 billion on flood management, according to the preliminary findings from the President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr.'s probe. The President has personally inspected several projects, including one in Bulacan that he described as a ghost project just recently. Both chambers of Congress have opened separate inquiries into the flow of funds. Philstar.com reviewed death toll from the weather-related disasters using records from the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, or NDRRMC, from 2022 to 2024. These include fatalities from cyclones, low-pressure areas, and shear lines. An average of 200, remember po, an average of 212 people have died each year since Marcos took office. The figures include all deaths reported by NDRRMC, even those not directly linked to drowning. While the government appoints billions Excuse me. While the government points to billions spent, the deadliest storms reveal stark gaps between investment and outcomes. Grabe yun po, no? Grabe yun po ang sitwasyon natin. Grabe yun ang sitwasyon natin po sa Pilipinas. And another news article that I want to share with you po, ito pa rin sa Philstar. Ito pa rin sa Philstar. Tingnan natin po if I can get this news. You hold on, ha? Aha, saan na yun ang news? Aha. Ito po, about, I mentioned already earlier in my program, about Marcos being angry. No? Angry. President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. is no longer just disappointed with this dismal state of flood projects in Bulacan. He is angry. Continuing his manual inspection of flood control programs, Marcos found one alleged ghost project after another in Baliuag, Bulacan. He checked a supposed concrete river wall project only to discover nothing was built. Nothing was built. Yan po, that is the footage that I shared to you earlier po, no? Grabe po. Awarded, fully paid, pero sa bandang huli po, wala pala yung project. Kaya galit na galit si President Bongbong Marcos po. Sana lang po, tuloy-tuloy na ito po, that he promised he will be taking action. He will do his level best. No fears and favors. Kung these individuals or these groups or these companies are his political allies, belongs to his political allies or business associates, relatives or friends po, he said sorry. He will deal with them accordingly po because Filipinos are suffering po, no? Because of the many projects, billions of pesos involved po, yet the problem of flash flood still remains in the Philippines po. And then natapos po dahil corruption po ang problema dyan sa Pilipinas po. It sounds funny but we are serious po. Serious, sana lang po. Pwede na ito. We can solve this problem already. Okay, on my next topic naman po, let's go to another topic, and this time, saan tayo, ha? Punta tayo po about, saan na yun? Hold on, ha? Punta tayo kay updates ni former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte dyan po sa The Hague, dyan po sa International Criminal Court. Now, mayroon tayong ditong footage po. This is an interview carried out by the broadcasters, reporters dyan po sa DZRM. DZMM ba yun? No? DZRMM sa Manila po, and they interviewed one of the ICC accredited lawyer, and I'm referring to Attorney Joel Butuyan. Butuyan ba yun? Butuyan. Nandito po. Let's listen to this video clip.
Kausapin natin ang isang ICC accredited lawyer, chairperson mula sa Center for International Law on Zoom, si Attorney Joel Butuyan natin mga kasama. Attorney Joel, good morning po. Peter at Rica sa programang Balita Batan.
Magandang umaga, Peter and Rica, sa lahat ng ating nakikinig ngayong umaga. Hi, Attorney Joel. Thank you for spending some time with us this morning. Kasi po, pag pinag-usapan ni ICC at kung ano-anong mga moves and appeals and requests ng both prosecution tsaka defense, medyo ang hirap kong intindihin ng normal na tao ay pangkaraniwang tao kagaya namin ni Rica. Number one po na tanong namin, bakit po ba yung lawyer ng mga biktima against former President Rodrigo Duterte ang siyang nagsabi sa ICC na kailangan i-grant siya ng varying standard time limit o I guess more time para po sagutin nga yung defense's move to disqualify ICC Chief Prosecutor Karim Khan. Ano, di ba dapat yung korte po ang sumagot doon? Bakit pati yung defense lawyer? Yes, lawyer of the victims. Correction. Peter, no? Noong August 16, nag-ain ng request yung tumatay yung abogado ng mga biktima sa ngayon ng additional time para mag-submit ng kanyang counter-arguments sa may disqualification request against Mr. Karim Khan na final ng defense counsel, Mr. Kaufman. No? Sinasabi niya hindi siya nabigyan ng kompletong dokumento at ebidensya na inihain ni Mr. Kaufman. Kung baga, hinihingi niya na yung 10 days na para siya ay sumagot ay count from the time na mabigyan siya ng kompletong dokumento dahil marami ka mga pinafile ng mga tinatawag na redacted, no? Na ginagawa siya, no? Pero mayroong bagong balita, Peter, no? Ko kanina yung site ng ICC at si Mr. Kaufman ay may final na bago na submission sa ICC. Withdraw na niya yung kanyang motion na disqualify si Karim Khan. Okay. Ano po ang naging rason? Bakit
Alright, yun po, narinig natin na si Attorney Joel Butuyan announcing that ang lead counsel ni Tatay Digong dyan po sa case sa International Criminal Court. Earlier they filed a motion to disqualify si itong lawyer, si Khan. But nag-withdraw na daw po according to Joel Butuyan. Alright, and I will share you another footage kay Attorney Joel po. And this time around, I think he's talking about the ano ito, jurisdiction po. Jurisdiction, no? Ng ICC on the case of Tatay Digong. Let's listen to this po.
Peter, no? Ang batas na sinusunod sa investigation sa ICC ay yung tinatawag na Rome Statute. At wala akong na-violate sa provisions ng Rome Statute sa investigation na ginawa ng ICC prosecutor. No? Walang nakalagay na time frame doon at nagkaroon ng sufficient time for the ICC prosecutor to conduct its investigation before it applied for a warrant of arrest. In fact, kung maalala niyo si Senator Bato de la Rosa, sinabi niya na nakatanggap na siya ng notice from the ICC para mag-explain pero hindi niya sinagot at binaliwala niya. No? So, makikita natin na talagang yung ICC nag-imbestiga hindi lamang sa mga biktima, kundi pati sa mga kagaya ni Senator Bato de la Rosa. Okay. Let's talk about laging
Alright, yun po ang boses, ang video clip na mayroon tayo po regarding ang interview sa kanya sa DZRMM yata yun, no? Si Attorney Joel Butuyan about the issue kay Tatay Digong. And siguro I can still share you another footage po. Sandali lang ito po, no? Another footage, but this time around regarding si, saan ba ito?
Mr. Secretary, good afternoon to all the members of the DPWH. Secretary.
Nag-request sa atin ngayon lang po kung pwede daw po ang video clip natin kay Senator Mick Subiri when he was saying that kailangan po remove kung itong big elephant sa room, no? Ibig sabihin name talaga ang mga sabihin natin ang mga individuals o congressmen involved sa corruption activities dyan po sa numerous flood control projects sa Pilipinas po. Okay, since mayroon tayong request, let me share with you again itong footage ni Senator Mig Subiri dyan po sa Senado during the hearing of the Blue Ribbon Committee yesterday. Nandito po. Let's listen to this.
Mr. Secretary, good afternoon to all the members of the DPWH and Secretary Pangalaman and all the other departments. departments. Alam mo, let's address the elephant in the room, Mr. Chairman. Let's already address the elephant in the room. The DPWH is not all at fault. Kasi yan, kanina pa, nahiya lang si Secretary, Mr. Chairman. Pero in our conversations together with Secretary Mina, namamanggal yung budget. Iba yung NEP, paglabas po ng GAP, ng GGAA, yung General Appropriations Act. And I've had conversations with the good secretary na sabi niya, wala na yung aming flagship projects, wala na kaming road right of way. Out of sheer frustration, hindi kasalanan ni Sec. Yun, Mr. Chairman, kasi tama sinabi niya, pagdating sa NEP, vetted na yan. May RDC Council approval yan. Napakahirap, napakaigpit. And the DBM also knows that there's a vetting process. Kaya paglabas po ng budget, iba na itsura ng budget, wala na po silang magagawa dahil batas po yan. Kailangan po nalang i-implement yun. That's the elephant in the room. Kaya tama si Toby Chanco sa Kongreso kahapon. Ibigay yung mga amendments from the NEP and after the BICAM. Kasi napakasimple lang po yan eh. Ito po yung NEP, ito po yung amount. Yung marami dyan, walang kalokohan na projects, walang flood control, walang cat's eyes, walang pagbili ng solar lamps, paglagay po ng road barrier, rock netting, tsaka yung pintura sa kalsada. Paglabas ng budget, inamend yung budget nila, linagay na po lahat yun. We need to find out the proponents of that, and the president is on his right, is in the right track. Kasi I've seen the president's frustration when I was Senate President na talagang bakit namamanggal yung budget, ba't nawala yung aking legacy projects. Kaya for 3 years, nawalang legacy project yung ating Pangulo. Dahil nga, siguro there was a free hand and we're all guilty, no? Both House and the Senate. So, I think, wag na tayo magsanto-santo dito. Ilabas na natin yung listahan. Sino ba nag-amend yan? Tapos depensahan ng congressman o senador sa Loreta kung kaya niyang i-depensahan. Ba't niya linagay doon? Tama sinabi ni Chairman. Maraming project dyan, ghost. Meron pa nga hindi ghost. Ginawa, pero kalahati lang. Supposed to be 100 linear meters. Naging 15 linear meters na lang. Di dapat kasuhan yun because that's a public infrastructure project. If it is not 100 linear meters under the contract, they do 50 linear meters. You can file a case like what they did to Napoles and file a case against them for substandard projects. Kung pag na yun, umuhon tubig, umuho din yung project. Labas ng kabilya, walang kabilya, kawayan lang. Nandun sa Albay, sa home province ng aking nanay. Panay, buko lumber. Diyos ko po. Tsaka bato. Na semento. Yung semento, mas manipis pa sa platito yung semento. Yan, kasuhan yan. Kasuhan ka agad yan. Tapos tignan mo yung proponent. Kung wala po sa NEP yan, sino ba naglagay na politiko dyan? Yan ang tanungin natin kasi there's always a day of reckoning in the elections. You will always say, kayo pala proponent na itong mga substandard projects. Nahilagot kayo sa amin kasi binaba kami dito. That's the elephant in the room, Mr. Chairman. I did not want to make an opening statement, but watching this talaga angers me. And I am so happy that the minority leader, together with Senator Lacson, together with Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, our chairman of the Committee on Finance, and the members of Congress now will be transparent. If there are amendments to be made in this budget, let's defend it on the floor. Kung may kalsada doon sa gitna ng probinsya ko ng Bukidnon, walang tulay, yung mga teachers nalulunod, yung mga estudyante nalulunod, I will stand up here and defend a bridge project for that. And then convince my colleagues for that amendment with the approval of the local government unit, the RDC, and the DPWH. Pero yung mga bulagaan lang na after one night, nandun na lahat. Wala na po silang mavevet, wala na po silang magagawa. Kawawa din yung mga to. They become our punching bag. But let's start from the beginning. Where did the funds come from? Where are the sources of these funds? And let's expose it once and for all. Parang sa nangyari sa Napoles, lumabas lahat ng pangalan. May mga politiko ayaw ilabas sa mga pangalan. Ilinabas doon ni, at that time it was Chairman Chofisto Gingo na the third. Yung ano,
Alright, that's it po. Narinig natin ngayon na si Senator Mitch Subiri. I totally agree with him. Name the elephant in the room po. Ibig sabihin, you name, make it public who are the people involved in these corruption activities of the numerous flood control projects in the Philippines po. Who helped insert these projects po sa GAA? No? And para malalaman na natin po, kagaya sa pork barrel noon, sabi ni Senator Mig Subiri. So far, yesterday during the Blue Ribbon Committee hearing po, I salute Senator Mig Subiri po because his speech is mostly may mga ano talaga, may laman po, no? May laman talaga po ang speech niya po. And I totally agree when he said that let's name the elephant in the room. Ibig sabihin, why not? We name, expose the name of these people involved. If he's a congressman, then expose it and then let them explain to the public. Sino ba? Involved ba ang Speaker of the House of Representatives? Involved ba ang Majority Leader of the House of Representatives? Involved ba mga other lawmakers po? Maybe not all, but definitely with what President Marcos just announced na confirm mayroon mga ghost project po. Who did the insertion po? And how much is the amount involved? And what will happen now? After you find out that this is a ghost project, then who will be paying back the money to the government? Because this is the taxpayers' money. Pera ng bayan yun po. Pera ng mga tao Pilipino po. Pera ng mga taxpayers po. So, they should be accountable. So, ito po. Before I go out, I would like to say, shout out muna tayo kay Mary Lou Bentojo, who is watching our program. And of course, si my girl Fabian, who is also watching our program, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico on a Wednesday, August 20 po. No? Salamat. And kung if you want to know more about what is happening dito po sa Pilipinas o dyan sa Pilipinas, all you have to do is subscribe lang po ang Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. Support me and I'll make sure that you will get the news that you deserve. I might not be the first one to break the news, but definitely you will get the news. So siguro hanggang dito na lang po ang programa natin for Wednesday, August 20. And I will continue to monitor the activities dyan po sa Pilipinas as well as dito po sa Malaysia. And should there be anything big that will erupt, then I'll make sure that you will be properly informed. Lahat kayo po, mga kababayan ko dito sa Malaysia, mga kababayan ko po dyan sa Sabah is Malaysia, particularly in Kota Kinabalu, other overseas Filipino workers in other parts of the world, not only in Malaysia but Asian countries, Europe, sa Japan po, sa China, sa Amerika, o saan po. So, dito lang po, ito ang programa ninyo, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. Once again, Nico Fabian would like to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. Malaysia, Sabah, the Philippines, God bless us all, and I'll see you in my next episode. Bye!